Hello YouTube! As a special surprise, a brand new indie game got shadow dropped and this review got pushed up, so let's just swing right into it. Penny's Big Breakaway is a game developed by Evening Star and published by Private Division. It's a bright and colorful 3D platformer, invoking feelings of games you might have found on the Sega Saturn. Even I'm a bit too young for the Sega Saturn, but it is nice to see basic 3D models time to shine compared to their bit-type 2D game counterparts. It's a simple story of our heroine Penny wanting to try out for the local gala as a stage performer. On her way to the tryouts, she finds this magical string that brings her yo-yo to life. Okay, fantastical storytelling full of whimsy it is, I'm in the mood for it, but that's just a basic overview. How's this game play? What does it have to offer? This introduction stage, which has no real stakes, is the perfect place to test out and tutorialize you on your moves. Penny is a yo-yo master, and with its new transformation, she can do multiple things such as attack enemies from afar, roll around at the speed of sound, swing to and fro, dash through the air, all with your yo-yo. Anyway, the mechanics in this game are pretty simple. You'll be doing generally the same 3 to 4 actions the whole time, but it will take you a while to fully understand and utilize them in a way that feels really intuitive and good. Easy to learn, hard to master, you've heard it all before. More than anything, this intro level gets you used to the overall atmosphere of this game. It's a very slow, casual opening with jokes and world building. These guys will be in every level and it makes the game world feel pretty full and lived in. But inside, we cut to the front of the line and get ready to perform in front of Emperor Double D himself, Eddie, and these other guys. Penny's performance is spectacular and crowd-pleasing. Literally first try for her and them, it's great. But it's a shame that her new yo-yo is like an uncontrollable dog that eats the Emperor's clothes. Ah, conflict. We're branded a felon, pursued by the Penguin Guards, and now we're making our big breakaway. Alright, jokes aside, we can finally dig deeper in our first level. Like I said, this game is a 3D platformer that has a large focus on, and I'm going to say this slowly, momentum-based platforming. You're swinging and rolling around with this game's own custom physics and custom engine made by Evening Star themselves, and the levels facilitate this. The movement is its selling point. Rolling down hills, picking up speed, swinging and letting go at just the right time. It allows for some pretty freeing movement and skipping some bits of the level. I think one of the funnest bits is getting to high up areas for no reason other than just to be there. The freeing movement just in and of itself makes the levels worth it to explore, and the game rewards you for exploring them. There are these tokens called showpieces that give you more points at the end of the level and something extra later on, and these dilemmas that are extra tasks that once again give you more points at the end of levels. Dilemmas range from finding things, collecting things, taking out enemies, and more, sometimes even within a time limit. You don't have to do any of these things, but it gives you something extra to do. The other thing you universally have to worry about are the Penguin Legion. If too many of these guys grab you, you lose health points and you get sent back to the last checkpoint, like falling in a pit. You can get rid of these guys by doing yo-yo tricks, and by the end of the level, you have to land on a busker to finish it. These are tiered platforms that determine how many extra coins you get, 50 each with each completed button input, but mess up and it's all over. Normally at this point I'd walk you through part of the game, going over game design and systems and mechanics, but that's pretty much it without like getting super deep into the mechanics and certain things. You get power-ups, but they're highly situational that you obviously know what to do with them. There are as many gimmicks as there are level themes, so it's varied and fun. And finally, the story is simple and effective. It's so fantastical you're making transitions that honestly don't make sense, but work in the world that's presented. You get flushed down the drain and end up at the edge of the world, and then get transported to the Penguin Icelands. Why? But it's funny, so who cares? It's literally magic, and the themes of this story are also simple and effective. If it does anything really interesting, it's that the game plays with the idea of antagonists and the role they play. It deals with the act of performing for others and performing for yourself in the things that you want to do and how you do them. As I talked about earlier, the stages are varied. The color palette is vibrant and strong, very simple but very striking. The music is also upbeat and full of a little bit of swing. All Hands on Deck came to give you a mood that feels a little nostalgic but also new at the same time. The gimmicks are simple but accent their levels nicely. You have your electric deserts, your snow-filled ice physics, your lava and water towns that you're able to ride over with your yo-yo. The bosses range from a mix of platforming challenges to classic pattern recognition, or just being annoying. They aren't that much to write home about, but the character designs are stellar and cute. I don't know what it is about this walrus, but I just kinda wanna pinch her cheeks. But all of that said, the real meat and potatoes of this game is the gameplay. So if you're just trying to beat the game, you're not going to have that much of a problem. This game takes a bit of getting used to, but the abundance of checkpoints and the lack of lives makes things easy. In fact, you can buy items that makes the game even easier with your coins. 2 extra hits, a one-time save from a bottomless pit, a one-time save from penguins, and an item that gives you more bang for your buskers. You just have to not get hit during the level to really use it. In fact, the true difficulty of this game shows itself in finding the showpieces and doing the dilemmas, or choosing to go for the high score that each level sets for itself. And to be honest, both of them weave into each other a little bit, fairly nicely. We'll talk about it. Let's start off with the collectibles because these are the things that will give you your 100% on the save file. You have 3 showpieces and 3 dilemmas for every normal stage in the game. Both of them give you incentive to look around the stages and gives you a nice chunk of points by the end of the level. They even sometimes help you find shortcuts and stashes of coins, both of which are very helpful for getting points and score later. I'd say only about a handful of them are pretty annoying to get, but because you get them in order, you know if you've missed one. The only real problem is that if you've reached a place in a stage you won't be able to go back to, you'll have to restart the whole thing to get back to where you were before. You can typically tell you've missed one if you find yourself at the end of a zip line that you didn't zip down yourself. And the game does keep track of the ones that you've already gotten, so you can go back into a stage and just find the one that you missed, but I think you have to beat it again. I was testing on score and a lot of things, so I just got all of them on my cleanup just to keep them in my mind. Either way, these side activities are interesting and help expand the game's playtime. It's just a shame that I'm not the type of person this appeals to. I really appreciate the tokens that show you faster routes, but I hate the ones that send you backwards just as much, so that's like 5% of them overall. Oh, but the time limit and no-hit dilemmas are just annoying because you have to restart once you fail them. It's also a shame that doing all the dilemmas don't give you anything outside of the levels. The showpieces, however, are currency for extra levels. These levels are bite-sized, extra hard challenges that put into focus one aspect of the game or another. It could be an ability or a power-up or both that are pushed to the limit, like the very last one that wants you to master the wall jump. Don't worry about the wall jump in normal play, it will save you only like a couple of times. Doing all of this will get you 100% game completion, which gives you nothing. So now let's talk about things that give us something, like getting points. What do points get you? When you reach the point requirement in each stage, you get some artwork that you can browse through. It's just, why is the unlocked art splash screen bigger than the viewing art section? There aren't any viewing tools to enlarge or move the picture around, it just stays too small to appreciate in the viewer. But oddness aside, what's the best way to get points? That is a question I asked myself while I was playing the game and cleaning up for 100% because it's just a little too obtuse for my liking. The first thing you'll notice with points is your combo counter, counting how many tricks you do in a row. Simple. Under that, in my honest opinion, is the more important multiplier, and then under that, the name and points of your tricks. If your feet touch the ground, your combo ends. If you're tackled by a penguin, your combo ends. But if you get hit or fall down a pit, your combo will end and you will get no points. It took me so long to even notice the multiplier because of how small it is, and that's how you're going to get most of your points. It multiplies your total combo at the end, and there are a couple of ways to increase it. Getting coins increases it by 0.1%. Every 10 tricks increases it by 0.5, and completing dilemmas increase it by 1, maxing out at a 5 times multiplier. If you aren't aware of this, I don't think you're going to be getting the necessary point values unless your combo is ridiculously large, and I'm not just saying that because I didn't get them. I really think they should have made the multiplier a bit bigger and more in your face about how it works. I had to sit down and actively figure it out. And then I came to the realization that playing a level well to get a high score is kind of pointless when you can just farm points at the start of any given stage. I don't think there's a penalty in taking too long, and all the little bonus extras you get at the end of stages don't really matter if you just grind it out, and I think it hurts the game that you don't really have to get good at the level anymore. I mean, you could die and lose points, but once again, nothing's stopping you from finding a place to just grind it out. And I know most people won't care to get 100%, and most people won't care to get these point thresholds, but just the very idea of them being a little rough around the edges is sprinkled very lightly throughout this entire game. The very core of this game, the momentum-based platforming, isn't as clean as it could be. You bounce off edges, you tumble down slopes at awkward angles, you could even just soft lock yourself on an edge and you have to restart back from a checkpoint because you can't move anymore. I can't tell you how many times I fell through a floor or through a wall and had to die, and it was just frustrating. The yo-yo and button inputs feel a little inconsistent. Let's use a busker as an example. Let's say you get a prompt that you have to rotate the stick 2 times in a row, the same direction. You continuously rotate the stick, but it only takes up 1 input. I have to stop and then do the input again. Now that can be 100% on purpose, but it does give off a certain kind of strictness that's in this game overall, even down to picking up items that you can only pick up by swinging your yo-yo at it, or some that just let you roll into them. Even now, the air dash still feels inconsistent to me, but that still doesn't beat the secret move that's in the game, which is the ledge grab, and I can't even really tell you how it works. I think it works by swinging into it at a higher height than the ledge itself, but I don't know. I feel like I do, but I probably don't. But other than the very basic, I think this game should have been cleaned up and QA'd a little more. If I had to come up with an overall fix to its core game design, I would change the point system if I'm truly honest, and it wouldn't really be that big of a change. Instead of a combo counter, I would put in a combo meter, kinda like Devil May Cry, but the grading system would be replaced with the multiplier. It can even work the same, 10 combos give you a 0.5 boost and the like, but instead of just touching the ground or penguins removing the combo, they would run the meter down faster. I think that kind of leeway would help the game from feeling a bit monotonous, because it feels like I'm constantly pressing the same button combinations as I move throughout the level, especially when it reads to moving over flatter ground. Theory aside, the multiplier just needs more focus, point blank. The last few extras that I need to mention is that there's a time attack mode that I think is the best way to play this game, and a sound test to listen to the game's music at your own leisure. Penny's Big Breakaway is a fantastic game, but it feels it's only at its best when you ignore a lot of the extra stuff that they put inside of it to make it feel like a more fleshed out experience than just a straightforward platformer. The game feels like it could have used just a little bit more time of polish, but the core is strong that if you just want to play and experience it through, you'll have a fantastic time. Even with the small issues, the world, the gameplay, the style, the music, the characters, everything else comes together in an experience that is unique and well realized. Evening Star made something special, and I want to see what else they make. And if you want to see what else I make, go watch one of my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe, and until we meet again, bye.